Again, I'm going to use Scalar 3 today for the sake of coming up with some chords. And these are some Prism packs. If you guys haven't checked out Prism, Render Audio makes Prism. I don't know if they make them, but they're called Prisms, and Render Audio is the website. So check them out if you get a chance. And let's use this key here. And we're going to use the strumming. So without it, it just plays the chords, right? But with strumming on and set to a articulation of slower, so you got that as an option. If you go to expression, you have strum sequences, so you could go in here. And of course, you can always mix it up and find a different pack of chords that you may want. Let's see if there's something else that I want. Emotional. So right now what it's doing is it's strumming and then playing. And if you just hold it down, it'll just keep going. I'm only holding one note down. See it up here? It's just playing this one chord, but it's articulating it a little bit different. If I switch to this one. Now this isn't how I prefer to do it because I like to play more than I do using their strumming. And if you play, you can. The problem is when you use these chords with that, you know you're locked in. So now that's just all the white keys. So obviously I'm playing it's A minor, C major, same thing. One of the things you can do though, if you don't want to use scalar as an option and you just want to come up with your own, the cool thing about this particular keyboard, this is the Launch Key Mark IV from made by Novation, is you can lock the scale. So if I go up here and I want to do C minor, you can't see it, but I actually lock the scale. And let me do this. There we go. And then we're going to make this 49 so you can see the keyboard a little bit better. Oh, let me go down one octave here. So all I'm doing is playing the white keys and it's locked the scale, so whatever notes come out. Now, the reason why I prefer this method over scalar is because, to me, this not only makes me play the rhythm, but it also gives me more expression and feeling versus using scalar, where it's kind of like you're locked to their expression things that you trigger. So this is just my personal favorite. I think that's what makes the Launch Key Mark IV special to me. Not only having the transport, but that scale lock is huge. Now the MPC Key 37 and maybe the 30 and maybe the 61 I think have scale lock. So if you're on an MPC, those for sure have it. Um, just that alone I like. Click there, bring it down over here, and now you have this. So we'll see what it sounds like. There it is. So I just played that off of just using the keys. It's getting me more into playing the music right, which is what I like. I'm gonna join, let's see, delete anything on that end, Command J. By the way, if you click Command J here, it consolidates this, and now you have that. All right, so could I tighten it up a little bit? Perhaps, yeah. So maybe lengthen that note and these notes here a little bit longer. Put that one there, and then make sure this first note is hitting right where it needs to be. So we'll just Command J that. Boom. I mean Command U. Wrong one. Just making sure that it hits right on the one. Just the first note I'm more worried about. These will lengthen them a little bit. Shorten this one. Maybe not that short. Come up a little more. A little bit past. And let this one ride out like that. All right, cool. All right, so it's not looping right where I need it. I think I'm probably off on where I set the loop. So let's just double check it though. Oops. No, it's pretty on. So in here, we'll zoom in and we'll see if we can just, oops. All right, there we go. So let's go. So if you don't like a part, just fix it. But you can, or you could play it again. So when I get to this last part, I'm just questioning. I feel like it should go down. Something different. Maybe there. Nope. Maybe that one's off a little bit. Maybe get rid of that note and we'll just try that. There we go. That sounds better. All right, cool. So there's an 8-bar riff right there that you can do. And again, scale lock. If you don't know the scale or the key, minor and major, pretty simple to learn. They're not complicated. If you one thing about scalar that it does or can do if you allow it to is help you to learn the chords, because if you set the scale, so let's say I want my scale to be, let's change it in here to, well, I guess it's not gonna let me just type it in, the one I want. We can go to, let's see, scale, all scales, and then pick the scale. So we're just gonna pick a simple minor. As soon as I figure out why it's not letting me, just, did I pass it? No. Major, major. Huh. Interesting. I must be overlooking it. Well, we can use harmonic minor, whatever, at this point. Clear all filters. We just want a C minor. So weird, I'm not seeing it. I'm probably sitting here looking at it and not find it, whatever. But you can learn, the point of this, what I was going to say was that you can learn your scale. So here's your C minor scale. On the keyboard, it also does that for you too. If you do snap to scale, you can kind of see what the scale should be. I don't want C sharp. I'm actually, there it is right there, C minor. So now you can see down here, see the blue notes? So then if I know what the blue notes are, I can take scale off on here and just learn it. So it's, and that's the scale all the way across the keyboard. There you go. And so any of those notes will work. So that's the beauty of Scalar 3, of learning it. And then to me, once you learn it, then you go in and you start playing your own stuff. So that's the minor. The major is all the white keys, right? So now we have, all right, so this is set to 94.5, but I want to go with, it picked the scale based on what I played. And then once I hit the what is this, MIDI capture, it brought it in at the speed that I played it at. So we're just gonna leave it at 94, and I don't want it to sync. I actually don't want it to play. I just gonna use those drums. So I'm playing my own tempo. So I didn't like the way this sounds. So we'll put it there. Command J, consolidate was there. And of course you can play this better if you want. I'm just gonna redo it. Now mind you, I'm not a drummer, but let's just do this. why that open had to be there. We'll throw a note there. And then we'll just put all this together by just Command J, and now it's together. It's off. This is terribly off. All right, so you see the errors, you see the mistakes. Then we're just gonna go, we can just option that over. Again, I'm not a drummer, so don't take my advice on drums, that's for sure. There we go. Ooh, my drumming is bad. Okay. Let's just get, I don't like this back end over here. Mind you, I really, when I say I don't drum, you can tell. So, I'm gonna set this to 30-second, and then we can quantize it. I could tell this note here is not even where I want it, so I'm gonna pull it over there. Oops. And this note here should be here. All right, that looks a little bit better. This one's way the heck off. And I'm fine with pulling that one there, having this up here. I think this probably should hit here, and then this one. Sorry, I'm not even sitting from the mic. That's my bad. We'll do this here. I don't know if this may work. Let's just try it, see what that does. Play it back here again. There we go. Yeesh. Let's get rid of this because it sounds bad. And we'll just duplicate that one out. There we go. And then this note here is off, but whatever. Now, if you want to go in and adjust notes the way I'm doing here, feel free. Obviously, it's up to you how you want to play. This is obviously not about showcasing drummer skills because I'd lose that in a heartbeat. I'm just not a drummer. I don't even listen to a lot of music with drums in it as much as I used to in the past. Now I'm more into like kind of ambient and soundscape stuff. So it's a little different, but I'm just showing you. And I did that slow. I could have done this way quicker by drawing in those notes, but I was just playing it in. So, and of course, you see the playing wasn't working. So, created a melody, created a simple drum pattern, and then now let's do. By the way, in case I didn't tell you, AmpleSound guitars are the best as far as guitars on the computer. Of course, playing a real guitar is way better. And of course, I will always recommend playing the instrument over not playing it. Um, but if you're not to where you can afford a real guitar and don't have the time to put into playing one right now or learning it, this can definitely get you by and get you the guitar sound. And it has a quality sound I think that's worth. And I think you can get those on sale for like $100. Each one of these AmpleSound guitars are right around 100 to 150 each. So just be mindful, pick the ones you're going to use. I always say have one nylon, one acoustic steel string, and then two different electric guitars. If you have those four, you pretty much have everything you need. A Stratocaster and a 335 will get you wonders. So just those four to me for guitar, and you're pretty set. All right, bass. Or should we go keys? Let's go keys. I'm trying to find my where is it at? Go down here. I'm just gonna copy it. Save me some time for looking. Boom, paste. So now we have the keyboard here. It just helps when you want to see what I'm actually playing, having it there. There's another keyboard option out there. I think I got this one from Sidebrain. His website. He's got some good stuff on there too. Check him out, and it's not expensive. I want to say like $5, $10 here, for some good Ableton. So again, I'm gonna go here. I locked it. Let's put. I always forget to try. In the world. I'm just trying to put another one of these on the bass so you can see what I'm playing. Okay. There we go. All right. So trillion bass. Move this back a couple octaves. So you can see what I'm playing. All right, cool. So what I'm gonna do, by the way, and for those that don't know this, some of you guys probably already know, but CG first, fifth, D, G sharp, first, fifth. In this particular scale, that is the first and fifth note of those notes. So if you play those notes, typically in a bass, a simple bass line, you could either play the single note or you could play the bass in the octave. And that's what we're doing, or what I'm doing. Bass in the octave. Bass in the octave. If you lock your scale, your keyboard, like if you have the launch key and you lock it to scale where it's only on the white keys, it's the first and fifth note. So you just, right? And I throw in that extra note just to do it. So let's just play that now and see how that sounds. So just that simple, just a simple bass. So it's good. And another thing is you don't need to quantize or do anything on bass and all that. The only reason I did that on the drums was just to get the drums locked in place quicker. But sometimes what I usually do is put down the snares first, go back in, put down the kicks, and then I'll play the ghost snare and ghost kicks and then play the hi-hats over that. That's just my workflow because it makes it a little bit easier. Because I'm not a drummer, I can do the parts that are just I need to get down. But for simple rhythms, there's no reason to get intricate and get all crazy with it. Okay, so let's do some keys. I'm just doing four basic food groups, I call it. Basically, you got your rhythm, your drums rather, your bass. Then you have your chords which sit in the track, and then we're going to find one lead. Now, you can get whatever you want to be your lead. In this case, I think I'm going to go with Omnisphere just because I want to continue to put it out there that I use Omnisphere just about on everything these days. So I'm just looking for a lead. Let's go check in the retro vibes, see what's in there. Textures, pads, pluck stuff sometimes can work. I'm not going to. Okay. I do like a harp though, I can't deny. Harps are pretty cool. I'm gonna play around just a little bit to see what I got. I think with the guitar going, the harp may be a little bit much because there's already a guitar playing kind of over the top with a melody behind it, that it may be crowding the space a little bit. So there's something else. Let's try something different. Let's go with some pads maybe. Trying to see, or something in the background. Doesn't have to even be pads, just but we can use pads or strings. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna make this easy. I'm literally creating a MIDI, and all I want to do is just that. Just gonna let it run in the background, right? And then if you want, you can command U to make sure it's, or there's other commands. I'm not gonna get into that because everybody's DAW is a little different of how they use it. Doesn't really matter which DAW you use. Just use whatever works. So I noticed there is a note or something missing down here at the end. You can see these snares are actually really off, which hasn't bothered me one bit. But let me look. Yeah, they're pretty off. Doesn't bother me one bit though that they're off. But let's listen. It does now because I'm hearing something and I thought the timing was really off, and it probably is. So we're going to set these to a 16th, and I'm going to go Command U and see if that'll help. Yeah, because now I hear the rest of it that's off. So drumming matters. Let me not act like it doesn't. Oops. It definitely does. There. So we're gonna fix that because I was wondering when I hear the end come around, I was like, the timing seems a little wacky. So I was definitely off on that part. And there's some more off here. I don't mind this little double kick here. I'm gonna push it there, and this should be hitting here. Let's just check it one more time. Yeah, here's another double kick. I'm just gonna put that one there. I'm fine with that. That snare is definitely way off. All right, cool. I think we're there now. There it is again. And the snare. Boy, you can tell I'm not a drummer. And this would be why some people draw in their drums. I can play some basic stuff, but sometimes I don't know, I'm just not there. So it is what it is. Okay, now we're sounding good. So yeah, Omnisphere definitely lingers. You got to keep that in mind when you're building stuff with it, especially pads and things that give it some time to ring out, because it's what it's gonna do. It's definitely soundscaping for me at least. That's what I'm using it for. So this is cool. So I'm gonna lower the volume on it. If I was gonna mix it, I'm not gonna mix I don't do a lot of mixing. A lot of it, when it comes to mixing for me, is just getting the track levels to sound good. With the drums, I have a drum bus that I use. Um, so I pretty much will go into the mixer, which is right here, turn that off, and then I'll turn up how much of this I want. So I'm just going to put it right there, turn the click off now. And I use this imager here to see where everything's hitting. So those spikes are the drums. So if you want them to be a little less, sometimes what I'll do, I'm not professional. I'm just, yeah, I don't want to tell people this is what you got to do. This is what I do. So I just lower the drums in the track a little bit. Mind you, I don't use drums a lot, but so when I do, so because they're hitting still, you can see. And I know a lot of people use side compression, so but I'm not trying to pump the kick. This is more natural. I'm just letting it be what it is. I'm not interested in all of that aspect of it, so I'm just showing you this. And then I have this mastering tool that I'll usually put on snappy, and then I'll drop it about 50%, and I'll let it run and see where it lands everything. So you need to, it kind of gets the levels pumped up, right? And I'm very much about space, like where you put things in space. Now, if I'm not doing drums, I mean, when I do drums, rather, this matters more or less. But I usually will keep the drums in the center, and then I might change the bass a little bit, like pan it a little bit. And you can do that pretty much on any DAW, right? You can pan it a little bit. I'm going to put just a little bit that way. And then these guitar chords, I'll put them a little bit that way. I'm not, you just use your ears for this part. Because a little bit goes a long way. So panning can make your ears hear both. It can basically give each instrument its own place in the space. Hopefully that makes sense. So you pan a little bit this way, a little bit that way, and you can adjust the mix a little bit so that you have all those sounds and they sit somewhere in the mix, but they're not all just clustered right in the center, because sometimes it gets washed out, bits and pieces of it. So this is my experience. I'm not, again, I hate when people get on there like, well, that's not right. That's your experience. I'm just telling you my experience, right? And I encourage people to give their experience. I think it's nice to hear it, but just remember everybody's got their own experience. Each song is a little bit different. The tools you use may not be the same tools I use. So when it comes to music making, everybody's got their own experience. All right. So there you have it. That's a simple track. That one took a little longer than normal. If I'm not talking and trying to show you things when I'm making music, I think I can move a little bit faster because I don't sit and have to tell you why I'm doing something. But I think it's good to hear it so that you get a kind of a clearer picture of it. Now that could be the intro. So I just did it. I didn't even really time it. We're going to move this down. And a lot of times that's how I'll start my music, with just playing something and then it becomes something else. So we'll just move that one down. Oh my gosh, I messed up. Hold up. I accidentally forgot to copy the whole track and move it down. We'll do that here. Then we'll move this down. All right, cool. Let's see where that ends up. Get rid of this. And here's. Let me spread this out a little here. Boom. So you just saw me just play something and make an intro. I mean, it's up to you how you do it. I could have a bass slide in right here to capture a bass slide. Right here would be nice just to slide into the room, you know what I'm saying, like with a bass. So simply put, I would just go duplicate, and then I would go into Trillion. And one of the things in Trillion, they have type muted bass, and then you scroll down, you'll see a Fender effect slide. There it is. So I use that sometimes for just getting a slide in. So you could turn the metronome on, press record. Oops. Don't make that mistake. I forgot to press the record up here. And you don't have to press record. You could just play. Let's try that. So we'll just go here, press play. Something like that. Then hit the boom, and there it is. Just that simple. As long as the record button's on here, you can hear it. And then now you have. But if you don't like that one, no big deal. All right, so I like that one a little bit better. Maybe start it right there. And if you think it's too soon, just pull it there. There you go. Simple as that. Now you have the bass slide that you need going into the bass. And there you have it. And that's how I'll start a song. So while I'm on this thought of making a song, the reason why I prefer to be in the arranger is because of things like this, where I want to just put a little something somewhere. It's much easier, in my opinion, to just do it here in the arranger. I don't need to have a whole clip that's 2 bars that I got to figure out where exactly it needs to go again when I slide it over if it doesn't meet up perfectly exactly where I want it. It's all right here in my face, ready to go. So there's that. And then now from there, you just start building more parts. If you want to have a B section or whatever, or I usually consider this like an A section, B section, then you have an intro. A C section might be a bridge and then an outro. And so, however you want to term that. There you go. So that's the song making right there. You can turn the metronome off. I don't need it. Again, I like to play it. Some people want to use samples. I use samples too, but I usually use them for texture. I have some videos on that too, where I use Glitch Machines Cataract 2. If you guys haven't checked that out, check out Glitch Machines Cataract 2. And you can take 4 different samples and mangle it and do some interesting little textural bits and throw that in the back of a track and just use it as some layer in the song to kind of give it some textural difference. So anyway, stuff like that works pretty good. And you could put more instruments in this song. I'm just sticking to the basic fours, a guitar, playing some chords. In this case, I used a pad for this instead of like a synth pad versus using like a piano, which I could throw a piano over it too if I wanted to. I could hear some flutes, so maybe like Spitfire Audio or this Chinese long bamboo flutes. I actually love the flutes on AmpleSound too. So let's see. There you go. I'm not going to put them in there, but you guys get the sense of what I'm talking about. You could add some flutes in or whatever you want to add to make it interesting. All right, that's it for this video. I think I went way over what I wanted to. Just another video of how you can create some interesting sounds using different instruments. And in this particular case, you can use scalar for the strumming if you want, or you can learn to just arpeggiate the notes, lock the scale, or don't lock the scale if you understand how to play the scale, and then just arpeggiate using sounds and creating a melody and creating a loop. In this particular case, an 8-bar loop. I usually don't like to go anything less than 8 bars, um, because if you're gonna go four, you'd better be super interesting. I mean, that piece better be something else, because 4 bars with a sample maybe that's chopped a certain way could be really intricate and good. But after, generally speaking, unless the 4 bars have a lot of variation, I think the mind tends to get bored really quickly, or at least mine does when I hear songs like that. So I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. Some people like simplicity of stuff even more so. And yeah, just make music and have fun. All right, I'm out.